Good evening, I'm Jose and welcome to the Philippines in World News Today. Over the past 24 hours, the Philippines appeared in at least 4 global news outlets: Reuters, CNBC, Al Jazeera, and BBC. Reuters reported that Philippine exports in July declined 9.6% from year-ago levels to $5.65 billion. Imports also fell by 24.4% to $7.5 billion in the same period, resulting in a trade deficit of $1.83 billion, the widest we have seen in the past 4 months according to data from the Philippine Statistics Authority. Also from Reuters, the Department of Health in the Philippines has reported 3,821 new coronavirus infections, marking the highest daily increase in the past 11 days. This brings the national total to 248,947 cases. There were also 80 additional deaths linked to COVID-19, bringing the country's total to 4,066. Straying not too far from the Philippines, CNBC published an article by Yen-Mi Lee on the recent 5% dive in the Jakarta Composite Index, as Jakarta plans to reinstate a partial coronavirus lockdown. Mobility restrictions are set to be reimposed in an effort to combat the persistent spread of COVID-19. The CNBC article notes that with 200,000 cases, Indonesia has the second highest number of reported cases in Southeast Asia, next only to the Philippines. However, Indonesia does have the region's highest death toll of more than 8,000, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Moving on to geopolitical news, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has urged top diplomats in the ASEAN region to sever ties with Chinese companies that are helping build islands in the disputed waters of the South China Sea. Several weeks ago, the United States has blacklisted 24 firms linked to China's island-building ambitions. The report notes that the Philippines will not follow the U.S. directive despite the fresh disputes between Manila and Beijing over the Scarborough Shoal, one of the region's richest fishing sites. One U.S. blacklisted Chinese firm is currently involved with the expansion of a Philippine airport at Sangli, a former U.S. naval facility outside Manila. In somewhat related news, BBC published a write-up by Ian Urbina about the extensive reach of China's fishing vessels. Several ghost boats, usually accompanied by corpses of starved North Korean fishermen, have been found to reach the coast of neighboring Japan. According to the article, the likely culprit is increased competition due to the entry of industrial boats from China into North Korean waters. This appears to be in violation of sanctions by the United Nations that prohibit foreign fishing in North Korean waters. The BBC article notes that Chinese fishing boats have also been involved in bolstering China's actions to thwart modest efforts by the Philippine government to upgrade the infrastructure of an island it controls in the disputed waters of the Spratly Islands. And for our final article of the day, BBC reports that Cardiff City goalkeeper Neil Etheridge could be looking at a possible transfer to Birmingham City. Neil Etheridge is perhaps the highest profile member of the Philippine national football team, as he was instrumental in helping the country qualify to the Asian Cup for the first time in Philippine football history. And that is it for the Philippines in World News Today. Please see the links in the description below to read in full the articles mentioned in the video. Thank you and mabuhay!